Welcome to the Revolution of Purpose podcast. I'm your host, John Street, and each week we bring you conversations with thought leaders, entrepreneurs, and individuals who have aligned their life with purpose and created extraordinary results.
So I'm going to live through it and accept it radically with grace and hope and love.
I would be proud to be in this council.
It was an honor. I had so much fun.
Tune in every Monday for the Revolution of Purpose solo show and every Thursday for Revolution of Purpose conversations. Welcome back to the Revolution of Purpose podcast. Last week, I introduced what I've come to call the law of identity transformation. And I shared the idea that manifestation is not the miracle. Transformation is the miracle. Manifestation is simply the visible evidence that identity has already changed. And since that episode aired, I have heard from so many of you asking more about this principle. And I've been thinking about something. If identity really creates our external world, then why do so many people struggle to create lasting change? Why do we set goals? Why do we feel motivated or have breakthrough moments only to find ourselves slipping back into old habits, old relationships, old toxic things in our life, old fears, old addictions, old results? And I think the answer is surprisingly simple. Your identity always wins. Here's something I've been observing. Every one of us has an internal picture of who we believe we are. Psychologist Maxwell Maltz called it our self-image. Whether it's accurate or not, your mind works very hard to keep your life consistent with that picture. Think about a thermostat for a moment. If you set your thermostat to 70 degrees, the heater and the air conditioner will work together to keep your room at 70 degrees. Your identity functions much the same way. It becomes an internal thermostat, and it keeps down what you believe. Even if deep down you believe I'm always broke, then your thermostat's going to say I'm always broke. You'll unconsciously make decisions that keep returning you there. If you believe I'm not worthy of love, then my friends, you'll often tolerate relationships that reinforce that belief. If you believe I'm unhealthy, then your habits will quietly pull you back toward that identity. It isn't because you're lazy. It isn't because you're cursed. It's because your identity is trying to stay internally consistent. And this explains something that most of us have experienced. Willpower can create temporary behavior. Identity creates permanent behavior. Think about someone who says, I'm trying to quit smoking. Compare that with someone who says, I don't smoke. One is resisting temptation, but the other is expressing identity and doing it with confidence. Or how about someone who says, I'm trying to exercise. I'm trying to get to the gym. Versus someone who says, I am an athlete. I am athletic. I do healthy things. I am healthy. It's the same activity, but it's a different identity. One requires constant motivation, and the other just feels natural. That's why diets often fail. People change what they eat without changing who they believe they are. Eventually, identity pulls our behavior back home, so we match the thermostat that we're used to. But here's the encouraging news. Identity is not something that you're born with. It's something you build. Not by pretending, not by positive thinking, not by repeating affirmations that you secretly don't believe. You build identity through evidence. Every promise that you keep to yourself becomes evidence. Every courageous conversation becomes evidence. Every workout becomes evidence. Every generous act becomes evidence. Every difficult decision that you make is a vote for you, and it becomes evidence little by little. Your brain begins updating its story. Your neural pathways begin to shift, and you stop saying, I hope I'm disciplined. Instead, I've become someone who follows through. This is why I love James Clear's observation that every action is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. I think those votes eventually become an election, and eventually the new identity wins. As the late Bob Proctor said, if you can see it, in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. And you hold it not just through manifestation, but by becoming the person that holds it in your hand. This has changed the way I pray. It's changed the way that I set goals. It has changed the way I coach others. I no longer ask first, what do I need to get? I ask, who would naturally create that? Who is the person that creates my healthiest body? Who is the person that creates my thriving marriage? Who is the person that creates my meaningful business? Who is the person that creates peace? Who am I as the person that creates abundance in every area of my life and of all the lives that I touch? And then I ask, what is one thing that that person would do today? Not someday, today. Because today's actions become today's evidence. Today's evidence strengthens tomorrow's identity. Tomorrow's identity shapes tomorrow's life. And over time, manifestation becomes inevitable, not because you are forcing reality, but because reality is catching up to who you've become. I love to use the analogy of a star when you're thinking about reality. When you look up at the night sky, you see a star, and it seems very real to you in the present, but you're not actually seeing it in the present. You're looking thousands of years ago at a star that existed then, but because of the speed of light and the distance of which that star is away, you're seeing it in the present. You're looking into the past. That past created the vision of that star you see today. And my friends, our reality is the exact same thing. What we do yesterday, last week, a month ago, a year ago, is creating the reality that we see today. Please pardon me while I interrupt your podcast episode with a quick message. If you're enjoying today's episode, can I ask you one small favor? If you're watching on YouTube, just please take a second to hit that little bell and subscribe to my channel. Hit the like button and share this. Share it with someone who needs some encouragement today. Also, if you're listening on your favorite podcast app, I need your help there too. I would be so grateful if you'd follow the show, leave a 5-star rating and review, and share this episode with a friend. These simple actions make a tremendous difference in the growth of this show. They help these conversations reach more people who are searching for hope, searching for purpose, searching for practical mindset tools that will transform their lives. And if you're looking for even more motivation, mindset strategies, and purpose-driven content, I would love to connect with you on social media. You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at John Street Official. Also, I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn. Just search for John Street. And then one last very important thing. If you've ever found yourself asking questions like, why am I here? Am I living my purpose? How do I get unstuck in life? How do I take my life to the next level? Then I would love to invite you to schedule a free clarity call with me. Let me be clear. This is not a sales call. This is not a coaching call with someone from my team. This is nothing pre-recorded. This is a real one-on-one coaching conversation with me. And together we will explore where you are, where you want to go, and what may be standing in your way. My goal is simply to help you gain greater clarity, direction, and momentum in reaching your goals. To connect with me, to schedule your clarity call, or to learn more about the Revolution of Purpose coaching programs that I offer, please visit johnstreet.org or reach out to me on any of the social media platforms I mentioned. And now, let's get you back to today's episode. We're manifesting it from behind. We are being that person years ago that we're living out today. And so if you don't like that reality that you see in front of yourself, then decide today that you're going to become the person that does different things. Your identity is going to shift so that you can manifest a different reality. It's beautiful to know that we have that power to change the life around us. And it begins with who we believe that we are. I'd like to leave you with one thought today. Most people spend their lives trying to change their circumstances, but very few spend their lives changing the person creating those circumstances. But that's where the real power lies. If last week's question was, who am I becoming? Then this week's question is, what evidence am I giving myself today? What evidence am I building that I have become a different person? What promise am I keeping to myself? You know, often we break promises to ourselves that we would never break to other people. If you wish your reality to change, keep those promises to yourself when you don't feel like it. When it's something that's overwhelming you, when it's something that you really would rather just do anything else than that, keep the promise to yourself. There's that analogy that if you know that you have to eat a frog, if you think all day, I've got to eat this frog, I don't want to eat this frog, why do I have to eat this frog? And all day you do nothing but worry about eating the frog, you'll get nothing done until finally you eat the frog. Eat the frog first. If there's something that you really hate doing, challenge yourself to do it first. Do it at the beginning of the day. Eat that frog so that the rest of the day you can actually run after your passions. Reality is like a mirror. When we look in the mirror, if we do not like what we see, we don't just change mirrors. No, we have to change ourselves. And that's the same thing with manifestation. It's the same thing with reality. It's the same thing with the life that we're living. If we feel stuck, if we feel like we are just going through the motions but not leaving a legacy, if we feel like we are not tapped into our greatness, we can't keep changing mirrors. We have to change ourselves. Because every decision, every habit, every conversation, every promise you keep is casting another vote for who you are becoming. And eventually, that identity becomes so strong. That manifestation isn't something that you chase anymore. It's simply something that naturally grows from the life that you've become. You naturally create from the life that you've become. If this episode encouraged you, I would love to hear from you. Please leave a comment, send me a message, and tell me, what identity are you intentionally building right now? And until next time, remember, your purpose is not something you find. It's something you choose to live. So go become someone and watch what you create through your becoming. Go make today another step in your personal revolution of purpose. Thank you. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this episode encouraged you, if it challenged you, or if it helped you see your life a little bit differently, would you do me a favor? Subscribe to the podcast, leave a rating or review, and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Every share helps us reach more people who are searching for hope, purpose, and a life of greater meaning. And if you're ready to stop wondering what's next and start living with greater clarity and purpose in your own life, I would love to meet with you personally. Visit johnstreet.org right now to schedule your complimentary live purpose and clarity call with me. Until next time, remember, your purpose is not something you find. It is something you awaken to, and then you choose to live it. Go make today another step in your own revolution of purpose.